1953, South Korea was erased. Cities lay in ashes. Families scavenged for food. Children slept on the bare ground. Refugee camps overflowed, and malnutrition was rampant. Korea once was poorer than African nations, but today it's one of the leading empires. Korea exports not just cars and electronics, but music, dramas, and cultural influence that floods the entire globe. K-pop dominates streaming charts, and Korean dramas mesmerizes millions of hearts across the globe. Once, almost everyone had labeled them as a lost cause, but Korea had a plan no one anticipated. South Korea itself became the protagonist, a nation refusing to stay broken. Farmers tilled dirt after fleeing bombed villages. Students studied by candlelight. Mothers walked miles for rations. Fathers built makeshift homes, unsure if they would last the week. Infant mortality was staggering. Infrastructure was non existent, but citizens carried extraordinary ambition, and leaders did not promise comfort, they demanded sacrifice. But obsession always carries a hidden cost. The 1950s were merciless. Hospitals overflowed. Schools operated from tents. Electricity and clean water were rare. Aid arrived, not enough to heal, but enough to plant seeds. Steel mills, shipyards, schools. Families worked brutal hours. Children studied relentlessly. Entire towns rebuilt brick by brick. They endured hardships no modern society would tolerate. Yet, Korea pushed forward, determined that rubble would not be their identity. And while the world barely noticed, something unprecedented was unfolding in Korea. By the 1960s and 70s, factories sprouted faster than cities could rebuild. Education became mercilessly competitive. Family empires like Samsung, Hyundai, LG rose from nothing. Not just companies, but architects of a nation. They built roads, exported ships, launched Korea's economic backbone. Exports surged: steel, ships, textile, and electronics. Seoul rose from ruin into a pulsing engine of modern Asia. The miracle on the Han River was not luck, it was engineered with discipline, vision, and obsession. But Korea wasn't finished. Survival was never the final goal. The 1990s brought a second wave: cultural domination. Winter Sonata, a captivating drama, encaptured the whole of Asia. Fans recited Korean lines on foreign streets. Hallyu, the Korean wave, swept across the borders. And then came K-pop. Not an accident, but a weapon forged through brutal training. Children endured years of discipline. Only a few survived to debut. BTS, Blackpink, EXO. Not just groups, but ambassadors of nation. Culture spread faster than any product, reaching hearts no CEO could touch. But empires always cast shadows. Behind the glitter lay fractures: idols overworked, trainees trapped in contracts, and suicide rates climbing the ever high. Students and workers alike were pushed beyond exhaustion. Every skyscraper, every hit song, every export carried an invisible toll. Korea's miracle was real, but so was the sacrifice that sustained it. Could any nation repeat this miracle without paying the same brutal price? South Korea rose from ashes into a cultural empire. Factories gave way to stadiums, rubble to global fandom, but every success carries shadows. The question is not if another miracle will rise, it is where and who will rise next. From ruins to empire, Korea's story is a blueprint and a warning. If this fascinated you, subscribe because the world's next epic evolution may already be unfolding.